Hello everyone, this is Hitesh Mhatre, HOD Computer Engineering Department of Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to learn about the second part of the data modeling, the learning objectives, client server model and the entity relationship model. Client server model. It is a network architecture in which every computer or a process on a network is either a client or a server. The servers are powerful computers and processes dedicated to managing disk drives or the network servers. This is an example where you have a server here, it has a database. You have a client here which has an application which is used by the end user. So end user will use this application and give some commands which is given to your database server, and from database server it will go to the database and the resultant will again come back to the end user through this application. Now, advantage of using the client server model: improve data sharing, as data is retained by the usual business process and manipulated on the server is available for the designated users, that is clients, over an unauthorized access, because as the data is stored in the server, so and there are clients through which you can use, so there is a data sharing. Again, integration of the services. Every client is given the opportunity to access corporate information via desktop interface, eliminating the necessity to log in to a terminal node or a process. So there are services that are provided where user can directly use the desktop, that is a client machine, and can have the access to this data on the server. So without having to log in into the particular system. Easy maintenance. In a distributed model, responsibilities are dispersed among the independent computers integrated across a network. Therefore, it is easy to replace, repair, upgrade, or relocate a server while the clients remain unaffected. Now, since the responsibilities are divided among the different independent computers, so it may happen that one of the server is failed or they require some upgradation. So there are other servers that will continue the working without the client being affected. Then security. Servers have the best control access and resources to ensure that only the authorized clients can access or manipulate data, and servers updates are administered effectively. So there is no need to keep a record on all the devices. A server will have a list of say what you can say authorized clients. So when there is a request from a particular client, it will check whether this client has been allowed to access this database or not. So if it is allowed, then the server will allow the client to access the database. Disadvantages. Now when there are simultaneous client requests, it may happen that because we are using a distributed and we have multiple clients, so there can be a traffic congestion which can overload the server, and since it is a centralized, so it may happen that the main server is being failed. So this it will have the problem because since the main server is being a faulty, so the client servers is the model lacks the robustness of a good network. Now there are types of client server model. One is two tier, one is three tier. So we will look both the models of client server. The two tier architecture. You can see in a diagram. Two tier architecture is what we have: a server machine where we have a database management system, and then we have a client machine where we have a database user and a database application. So there is a common network connection between this client machine and server machine. The database system is present at the server machine and the DBMS application is present at the client machine. These two machines are connected to each other via reliable network. Whenever the client machine makes a request to access the database, a query language is presented in a SQL which performs the request at the database and returns back the whatever the result to the database application. The application connection interface such as JDBC, ODBC are used for interaction between the server and client. JDBC is the Java database connectivity and ODBC is the open database connectivity which can be used for connecting this database application and the server. Then we have a three-tier architecture. Only difference here is that we have a server application at the server machine and then we have the database system. Rest all we at the client machine we have the same database user and the client application, and again we have a network connection that connects the client and the server. So just another layer is present between the client machine and the server machine. This architecture client application does not communicate directly with the database system, so it has to go through this server application as shown here. So the client application communicates with the application server and the server application internally communicates with the database system, and whatever the queries that are given by the client will be given back to the client after the execution. Next we have an ER diagram, that is ER model, or we can say as an entity relationship model. Now this defines the conceptual view of the database. Generally we use this model for designing a database. It works around the real world entities and the association among them. So generally when we consider the entities, it looks what are the real world objects that are present. At the view level, the ER model is considered as a good option for designing the database. Now what is the entity? An entity can be a real world object, either animated or inanimated, that can be easily identifiable. Means it can be a real world object that is either living or non-living. For example, in a school database, a student, teacher becomes a animated entity, or you can say as a real world entity that are living, but the classes or the course offered can be an inanimated, or you can say these are real world object but a non-living thing. So these all becomes the entities. All these entities have some attributes or properties that gives them the identity, like a student have, because see, student teachers will have a name, address, contact number, but student, to identify student we have say roll number. Then again for class we have its structure, how many how much sitting arrangement. For a course, how much subject, how much marks it is offered. An entity is a collection of similar types of entities. Sorry, a entity set is a collection of similar types of entities. An entity set may contain entities with attributes sharing similar values. For example, a students may contain all the students of a school. Likewise, a teacher may contain all the teachers of a school from all the faculties. So that becomes a student entity set and a teacher entity set. Then strong and weak entity. A strong entity is not dependent upon any other entity in the schema, that is the design, and a strong entity will always have a primary key. Similarly, weak entity is an entity that cannot be uniquely identified by its attributes alone, but it will require a foreign key conjunction or an attribute from the strong entity to create a primary key. For example, a room can exist only in a building. So room here becomes a weak entity because if there is no building, there is no room. On the other hand, a tire you can consider as a strong entity because tire, it can be part of a car, so it is dependent upon car, but you can consider tire as a separate entity as well. So tire becomes a strong entity and room in a building becomes a weak entity. Then we have attributes. Now entities are represented by the means of their properties. These are called attributes. All attributes have values. For example, a student entity may have a name, class, and an age as an attribute. There exists a domain or a range of values that can be assigned to the attribute. For example, a student name cannot be a numeric value. So there is a domain or a range of values that supports a particular attribute. It can be alphabetic. Again, a student age cannot be negative. So this is again, so for a age attribute, the domain is it can be start for any positive value. Then we have types of attributes. Now these are the types of attributes, like a simple attribute. Example is like a student phone number. Simple attributes. Composite attributes is a student complete name which can be further divided into say first name and last name. So if there is any attribute that can be divided into further parts, that is called as a composite attributes. Then we have a derived attribute. Now derived attribute is it is derived from another value of attribute, like we have a age. Now age can be derived from the date of birth. Then we have a single valued attribute, say Aadhaar number, because this will for a person you will not have more than one Aadhaar number, so this is single valued. Then we have multi-valued attribute. Now email address, now a person may have more than one email address. Here you can also consider a phone number because a person may have more than one phone number. So these are the types of attributes that are used in ER model. Then we have relationship and the relationship set. Now first is relationship. Now the association among the entities is called as a relationship. Now when there are two entities and you have to link between these two entities, so how these entities are linked together is defined by this relationship. Now, for example, an employee works at a department or a student enrolls in a course. So in first we can see a employee is an entity, a department is an entity, and to link between them you have a works at. So works at becomes a relationship. So employee entity and the department entity are linked with a relationship as worked at. Similarly, a student is an entity, a course is an entity, and enrolls becomes a relationship between these two entities. Now relationship set, a set of relationship of similar type is called as a relationship set. Like entities, this relationship too can have an attribute. Now these attributes are called as a descriptive attributes. Then we have degree of relationship, that is number of entities participating in a relationship. So if there are two entities participating, we call as a degree 2, or we can say binary. If there are 3, then it is called as a degree 3 or ternary. If there are n, then we can say as a n-ary relationship. Then mapping cardinalities. Now cardinalities define the number of entities in one entity set which can be associated with the number of entities on the other set via the relationship. Now there are 4 types: one to one, one to many to one, and many to many. One to one, which indicates that a one value is associated in another of A is associated with only one value in B. So there is a one to one mapping. So this becomes only one value is associated with one. Similarly, we have one to many, means one value is associated with the more than one values. So in this we can see this one value is associated with more than one values. Then we have many to one, means many values from set A is associated with one value in B. So we can see this value and this value is associated with only one value in B. So many to one. Then many to many, like many values from A are associated with many values in B. You can see this value and this value is associated with only single value, but here a single value in A is associated with multiple values in B. So these are the mapping cardinalities that you can see in the ER model. I hope the concept of the network model, client server model and the ER model has been clear. For more details, you can contact me in this following details.